Hey, did you hear about that house in Brampton that sold at a $640,000 loss recently? $640,000? Holy crap. How did they end up losing so much anyway? Well, first of all, they bought in January 2022 when the market was completely out of control during COVID. The average price for a detached home in Brampton dropped more than 30% since then. I'm still in shock.
In Brampton, Ontario, that just sold September 27th, 2024 for a loss of $487,000, down from $1.6 million.
If you think times are tough for you, you should see this guy who lost $800,000 selling his house. This guy bought this custom built home for $2.55 million in March of 2022 and just sold it in April 2024 for $1.75 million. This just goes to show that not only this guy, but a lot of people are in very tough positions and cannot afford to keep their homes anymore and are taking big losses.
A Toronto home sold at a staggering $500,000 loss after 3 weeks on the market. The 4-bedroom, 5-bathroom home in North York was custom built and comes with a 2-car garage and was sold back in April of 2022 for $3.1 million. Well, the home was relisted 2.5 years later and was on the market for 3 weeks and just sold last week for $2.6 million, representing a $500,000 loss.
In 16 years, your daughter will not be able to buy a house. It will not be affordable for her to buy a house unless you help her. I would argue that it is a better business decision. It is a better financial decision for you to buy a house for her. It's an investment property. It's a rental property. All of the money that comes from that goes into an account, and that is her college, number one. And number two, that house is being paid for by somebody else. So then when she is 22 years old, graduated from college, you can say, here's sweetheart, here is the home that you will never ever have been able to afford if I had not bought it for you 16 years ago. And I'm telling you right now, that is the best financial decision. Rather than going to 529, whatever that thing is, college fund, that is complete and total bull.
I agree with that.
I'm telling you right now, going ahead and buying a house as an investment, that is the best thing that you can do for your children.
And I'm not selling anything I own because...
No, I wish I'd kept everything.
Toronto home sold at a massive loss of $900K as the market remains stuck. The property sold for $6.8 million back in January of 2022 and was put back on the market this August, eventually selling for just over $5.9 million, which represents a loss of nearly $900,000. The CREA's senior economist says that despite some emerging signs of life in the monetary policy easing cycle, the Canadian housing market still looks to be stuck in the same holding pattern it's been in all year.
An Ontario home sold at massive $400K loss as the market swings in favor of buyers. The property was first sold for $1.4 million back in January 2022 and was put back on the market this past July to be eventually sold for $985,000 at the end of September, representing a loss of $450,000. The TRREB president added that as borrowing costs go down and new mortgage rules make it easier to get loans, more people will likely buy homes as the population grows.
A Toronto home sold at a massive $430,000 loss after some court drama. The property was first sold for $1.83 million back in March of 2022 and was just resold last week for $1.4 million, representing a $430,000 loss in just 2.5 years. And the home's sale this year was preceded by extensive legal issues between the sellers and a potential buyer who put an offer of $1.72 million back in 2021, but failed to pay multiple deposits on agreed upon dates. This Toronto home sold at a shocking $1.7 million loss after 4 failed attempts to sell. This 5-bedroom, 5-bathroom, 6,600 square foot mega mansion in Etobicoke first sold in February of 2021 for $6.7 million. Well, 3 years later and 4 failed attempts to sell, the house just sold for $5 million, resulting in a $1.7 million loss.
This realtor in Brampton is offering a pre-construction home, which is a distressed sale with $600,000 loss. As you can see over here, $600,000 loss. Seller is walking away from the deposit, and there's over $100,000 worth of upgrade. The purchase price is $2,039,000, and the asking price is $1.4 million. The house looks beautiful, 2,200 square feet, but would you pay $1.4 million to live in Brampton? Or would you pass?
Someone in Brampton is renting out a single bed in the middle of a kitchen. This horror rental is listed for $350 a month, but your room is in the basement of the house, in the middle of the kitchen. One person wrote online, "Now you can literally wake up and smell the coffee. Would you rent this room out for $350 a month?"